Now, unlike your brother who was doing the mic check with shorts and a light shirt on, you were up there all dressed, ready to go.
Well, I didn't realize that there'd be all kinds of places to change, and I just came from home. I dressed at home, and because you never know, seeing we live so close to here.
Still in Brainersville, Eric?
Yep, still in Brainersville.
Yeah. This is, I can't remember who's older.
I am by 11 months.
11 months.
Yeah.
So very close. Which one of you was the star for Jim Schutt's baseball team?
I don't know if either of us was a star. We both tried real hard. We actually had some good teams back in the late 80s. My senior year and Leigh's junior year, we went to the States, lost by 1 run, and I was a losing pitcher, and it still haunts me. 1 run. Didn't have it that day.
I think I just missed. I got Leigh in one of those games on tape that we recorded, but I think I just missed you. I wasn't doing a lot of NAC at that time because Altona and Ellenburg didn't have cable, so I wasn't doing much coverage. So once Altona got cable, then I started doing more coverage, and obviously when Ellenburg got cable, then we did more coverage there. So I do have one with Leigh, but we were just a year ahead of him. I think we missed out on you.
Yeah.
No record of your
those are fun times.
Stellar career.
That's the only hobby I ever had that ever, for me, competed with music. I guess I can't call music a hobby anymore because it's what we do for a living. But I loved baseball just as much when I was a kid. I lived for that, and I still love the sport, but there's nothing like playing it, and there's such a small window to be able to do it,
That's right. You tell these high school kids, you're only going to get this opportunity one time.
I hear kids that'll say, well, I'm not going to play baseball this year, Mr. Gibson. I'm going to work. I say, you can work your whole life. You only have a short window if you love this sport. And there's nothing wrong with working either.
No.
Nothing wrong with learning how to work. But
there's some people that maybe just have to. Their family situation is such that they have to. But
I'm certainly glad that we had that part of our life. Baseball.
Now you still call the North Country home. You're in Brainerd still?
Oh yeah. I never got too far away. We've traveled all over the place, but it's always good to come home. It always is.
Now. I know I saw you working there a few years back. For a while, you were helping out with Dick DeCoste.
Yeah, I did that in the early 2000s when we made a record in Nashville that never came out, and we were kind of waiting for things to develop. And
you were hanging around. So
I had to pay the bills. So for a couple of years, Dick was good enough to bring me on, and he was very flexible. He's a great guy, one of my best friends, and even as an employee, we were still friends. Sometimes that'll ruin your relationship when you go work for a friend, but he's a great guy. And
I think they're playing in Champlain tonight.
Yes, we're competing. Yeah, they are. The Busco Bandits.
If he gets a bigger crowd with the Busco Bandits at the VFW than you get.
If we don't get a big crowd here, we're going to blame him.
It's going to be everybody went to the Busco concert.
Darn it.
Now, it must have been good for a couple guys like you guys when you were growing up to have somebody like a Dick DeCoste in the community with his music oasis and it's just to run ideas off and things.
Yeah, it was just I don't even know if we knew how lucky we were, and when somebody's always there, I think people have a tendency to maybe take them for granted, but I don't think I do. I've always respected him, and I talked to him this week for a couple hours. We're good friends, and he's just a smart guy and very talented guy in many ways. He can play a lot of instruments. He's a good businessman. He's a good shot. He can fix. I've seen him work on cars. I've seen him do carpentry. He's one of the most talented people I've ever met. And so he's always been there. And Gary Peacock, when he had that record store in Plattsburgh, that was another important place where we got a lot of our material. Go buy records and then tapes and then CDs as the years went on. And think about Dave Nichols too up in Whippleville.
The luthier.
Yep. And I have to mention Eric O'Hara from Moore's, who's the guy who got us doing lessons at Dick's Country Store when I was 12 and Leigh was 11. And Eric's still one of the most talented musicians I've been around. And Junior Barber, early on, Junior was in our band, and so there are a bunch of people. Donnie Perkins on the fiddle. A lot of people locally who kind of nurtured what we were up to, kind of saw some young guys coming along and helped us and were nice to us, and that's important. Leigh and I try to be nice to young guys coming along, young people coming along now playing the music, and Doug Knight was another person from Keysville, and great banjo player and great guy, and we've been lucky. The North Country's been good to us. So.
Yeah, well, I can't think of a local group that has been more popular or more people boosting for than what you guys are. The whole community. When you guys have success, it's like it's the community had success. The whole North Country.
Well, thank you.
There's more of that coming last year. Right now, you are still, because the year isn't quite over. You guys are still Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. A year is almost up, but that was a real pleasant surprise. That wasn't something that we really saw coming, but definitely a thrill. And to get on stage at a festival or whatever event we're playing and have an MC saying Entertainer of the Year, it's still sometimes I shake my head a little bit. Did that really happen? But if it never happens again, it happened once. So
that's right.
You can
take that away.
Right.
There won't be any steroid test if you were cheating or anything.
I think Leigh was on steroids. No, he wasn't.
Those fingers aren't natural, right?
Yeah, right.
Now I can just picture you guys. One of my favorite shows is the Andy Griffith Show, and one of my favorite parts of that was when the Darlings would show up.
Oh yeah.
And I could just picture the Gibson family in their own way. Probably nobody playing the jug, but your sister Erin sings and stuff.
Yes, she did.
I can just picture you guys at home. Was it kind of that atmosphere where you?
Yeah, we didn't wear overalls, but
no.
No,
but the exact replica of the Darlings.
But music was a big part of our lives, and we played it. We played it in church. We'd go to fiddle contests. We'd play in our living room. We'd play in my grandmother Fennelson's kitchen. I don't know if I've ever heard music sound better anywhere in my life.
I'm like singing in the shower.
Just the way it felt. Of course, you're around people you loved, but it was, it never got better than that. We got better.
Yeah.
But the feeling never got better.
Yeah.
And look who's here.
Yeah.
Calvin wanted to know if you were on steroids.
Why?
Well, we might take your award away from last year.
Oh, the PEDs? Yeah. Maybe they will.
He cleans up pretty good.
He looks a lot better, doesn't he?
I try. I work hard at it.
Well, I was just going to get into it. A couple of days ago on the internet, there comes the news. 7 awards you're nominated for this year.
I think 8.
8? Oh, excuse
7
me.
categories.
7 categories. 8 awards, 7 categories.
Something like
Well,
that.
the IBMA sent a thing out had it said 8. So
8. Okay. Well,
Whatever's more, that's what.
yeah, we want more.
maybe 9. Do you know off the top of your heads what these are?
There's for Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Entertainer of the Year,
Again.
Vocal Group of the Year, Gospel Recorded Performance, Mandolin Player of the Year, Songwriter of the Year for Eric.
Whoa.
And then he also wrote the song that's up for Song of the Year. Yeah, he's a talented guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. You must feel in awe just hanging around him.
Oh, it's not the right word.
Probably not.
It's not for him growing up in my shadow.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a big shadow.
And it gets bigger every day.
Yeah.
More Cracker Barrels we eat, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. When do you guys go down there? You go down. You're going to go down.
In September. It's end of September. We're asked to play the award show, and then we have another show in North Carolina the next day, and then they have a festival for the IBMA that weekend. So we're going back to do that. It's called Wide Open Bluegrass. We're doing that on Saturday.
Now, do you guys, even though you never expect to be nominated, you don't fill your calendar up with anything on that particular weekend?
Well, if it would fill up, we'd probably go, but we were embarrassingly available on that day.
Well, I'm glad you were available on this day.
Me too.
Now, you guys are going to miss the RFD channel tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're on there.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And I'll have my wife TiVo it or whatever back home.
Yeah, I'm sure you want to see it. And if you're not there, you'd be sitting in front. If you weren't here, you'd be sitting in front of your.
I hope I'm not wearing the same suit tonight that I wore there. That'd be embarrassing.
You do have 2, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
One's perpetually. No, we get clothes in the cleaners all the time. It's unreal.
I can imagine it.
Yeah.
Do you have to live out of a suitcase very often, you guys? Or?
Yeah, we do.
Certain times of the year, even at home, you're living out of the suitcase because you wind up repacking it, and you're gone in another 2 days. So you just wash the clothes, back in they go.
Put it right back
my
in
wife
the
has said that. Why don't you after I do my laundry and stuff, and I put it right back in. Why don't you put those in the dressers? And why? Why? Because I mean, they're going right back out on the road with me, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gone about half the time.
Yeah,
I'd say.
half the year.
So it's a lot of traveling.
Yep.
Have you gone overseas? Have you gone out of the U.S.?
Yeah, we played in a couple times. We've been overseas a few times. Once to Northern Ireland, and one time we flew over and did a show in Germany. And in 2012, we did 4 or 5 countries. We played in Denmark, Germany, France, and Italy on a run over there. It was nice. Very beautiful place. The people, they're not huge crowds, but the ones that really like bluegrass make an effort to travel pretty far in those countries to come to the show.
Well, particularly Ireland, I think the roots of bluegrass, I think, has a lot. You listen to the Irish music and stuff. I think there's a lot of the roots of that in the bluegrass sound.
I think they like the storytelling tradition also, and don't you? Don't you think that's pretty big over there? The story songs seem to go over well,
Now, do you both write or just you there?
Yeah, he's a great writer.
Yeah, we both write. Yeah.
So, is it you're constantly thinking of things? A lot of partial songs sitting in your head?
Yeah, some of them sit there for years. It takes a little while.
Do you have to write them down? Because a lot of times you think of something and you say, "Oh, that sounds good," then 2 days later you say, "What?"
Yeah, one of the best things for me has been, I hated to do it. I didn't want to buy an iPod, a smartphone. But the best thing about that for me is if I get an idea, it's right there, and I can just sing it into the phone and not lose a melody or an idea. And we've written ideas down on napkins, just about anything you can think of.
When inspiration hits you, you want to hang on to it and don't want to lose it.
We're always writing.
Yeah, well, it's part of the other people who have recorded some of your songs too, I assume. And
here and there, not so much.
after they hear you guys, after they hear you guys, we just can't improve on that. So why bother?
No, but sometimes I've tried pitching songs before to some, and they've said to me, well, why would you send this to us? Almost thinking like ahead of time that they're sending me their second best. They're sending me what but that's not it. I mean, but
you just think that somebody else might be more in tune with that.
Or if we have a time period where we got a brand new record out and I write a new song, I might not want to wait 2 years to record that song. I might want somebody else to give it a try, and nothing saying that if somebody else records it that we can't record it as well. And if you write it, you have a right to record it.
Right. Yeah, obviously. All right. So you got CDs here on sale. T-shirts, $15. Hats are $15, and your 15 or 20. And how much are your CDs?
15.
15.
Yeah.
And you have how many different ones are still available at this point?
We carry the last 3 or 4 normally. We have 3 of them here tonight, but you can still get some of them online at Amazon.com or different places. Some of them are out of print now, but
been around long enough that we have a few out of print. So.
And if the public rises up, maybe they'll come back.
Perhaps.
Okay, well, it's getting close to 4 o'clock. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Good to see you, Calvin.
It's great, and everybody in the North Country follows your career, and we're glad when you guys succeed, and we're all happy.
Well, thank you. We're proud to be from the North Country.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Leigh and Eric Gibson. Thank you.